They sell you a story, whispered in the neon glow of 1,000 motivational posters. It is the gospel of the modern age, the sacred text of the cubicle serf. The story is called motivation. They tell you it is the key to your freedom, the chisel that will sculpt a life of purpose from the raw, gray marble of your existence. Follow your passion, they chant, their voices echoing in the hollow chambers of corporate seminars. Hustle, they command, the word a battle cry for a war you didn't know you were fighting. But this language of liberation is a carefully constructed lie, a gilded cage whose bars are forged from your own ambition. Motivation, in the corporate lexicon, is not the fire of genuine desire. It is not the authentic, soul-shaking pull toward a self-defined destiny. It is obedience, disguised as empowerment. It is the subtle, masterful art of making you choose your own chains. Every slogan, every team-building exercise, every promise of a brighter future is a thread in the intricate tapestry of control. They have learned to monetize your dreams, to package your aspirations and sell them back to you at a premium. The passion you are told to follow invariably leads to their door, to their objectives, to their bottom line. The hustle is not for your empire, but for theirs. It is the relentless turning of a wheel that grinds your spirit into fuel for a machine you will never own. This is the core of the deception, the foundational crack in the edifice of modern work. The system is not designed to reward your freedom. It is designed to reward your compliance. It does not celebrate the rebel, the visionary who charts their own course. It celebrates the loyal soldier, the one who marches in lockstep, who internalizes the company's mission until it replaces their own. They have engineered a world where the illusion of choice masks the reality of servitude. You are given a ladder and told to climb, but the ladder rests against their wall, inside their prison. They have made the walls invisible, papered them with promises of fulfillment, and convinced you that the climb itself is the destination. But the truth remains, a cold, hard stone in the pit of your stomach. You will never truly escape their control, because the very motivation they ignite within you is the leash they use to keep you tethered to their will. The architecture of your confinement is a marvel of psychological engineering. It is a machine, silent and perpetual, designed not with steel and gears, but with systems and incentives. It is a labyrinth from which there is no exit, only the illusion of progress. At the heart of this machinery lies the promise of advancement, a promise that is both the bait and the mechanism of the trap. The promotion, the new title, the corner office. These are not rungs on a ladder to freedom, but milestones on a path of deeper integration into the system. Each step up is a step further in a tighter binding of your identity to their structure. Consider the performance review, that ritualistic flaying of the soul. It is presented as a tool for growth, a mirror to help you see yourself more clearly. But it is a distorted mirror, reflecting only what the machine values: efficiency, compliance, predictability. Your worth is reduced to a set of metrics, your potential measured against a predefined template. Creativity that disrupts, passion that deviates, ambition that seeks a world beyond their walls. These are not assets to be nurtured, but anomalies to be corrected. The review is a calibration, a fine-tuning of your function within the larger apparatus. It is the moment the system whispers, "You are not enough," while simultaneously offering you the precise path to becoming what it needs you to be. It is a leash disguised as a helping hand. This is how motivation becomes a tool of management, not a catalyst for personal liberation. The incentives, the bonuses, the stock options, the fleeting praise are not rewards for your spirit, but for your servitude. They are the carefully measured pellets of food that keep the mouse running on the wheel. They create a dependency, a constant striving for a validation that only the system can bestow. The illusion of growth is perhaps the most insidious component of this machine. You feel yourself moving, working harder, climbing higher. But this movement is not freedom. It is merely agitation within a cage. You are not ascending toward the sun. You are simply exploring the gilded confines of your cell, mistaking the gleam of the bars for the light of a new dawn. The machinery of control doesn't need to break your will. It only needs to redirect it, to harness your innate desire for more and channel it into its own perpetuation. The bars of this prison are not forged from iron, but from the delicate, invisible threads of human psychology. Your mind is the battleground, and your manager is a master tactician. They have been trained in the subtle arts of manipulation, taught to wield your own emotions as weapons against you. Praise is not a gift. It is an investment. It is a carefully administered drug, delivered in precise doses to foster dependency. It makes you crave their approval, to see your own value through their eyes. The warmth of a compliment is fleeting, but the hunger it leaves behind is a powerful tool for ensuring your continued compliance. Fear is the other side of this coin, the shadow that gives the light of praise its power. The fear of job loss, of falling behind, of being deemed inadequate. This is the ambient anxiety that hums beneath the surface of the modern workplace. Keeps you silent in meetings where you should speak out. It pushes you to work later than you should, to sacrifice your well-being on the altar of productivity. This fear is cultivated, nurtured by a system of constant comparison. Your performance is not measured against your own potential, but against that of your peers. The team spirit they preach is a beautifully cynical lie. It is not about shared victory, but about shared anxiety. It transforms your colleagues from allies into competitors, each of you scrambling for the same limited resources of recognition and security. You are a team only in the sense that you are all chained to the same, or pulling the ship forward for a captain you will never meet. The most profound psychological manipulation is the gaslighting, the relentless insistence that the system is benevolent. We're a family, they say, a phrase that is both a promise and a threat. It invokes a sense of belonging, of mutual care, while simultaneously demanding a level of loyalty and sacrifice that no healthy family would ever require. It is a mantra designed to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, for protecting your own time, your own energy, your own sanity. They will praise your burnout as dedication. They will celebrate your self-neglect as commitment. They create a reality where their exploitation feels like your choice, where your suffering is reframed as a noble sacrifice for the greater good of the family. This is the elegance of the trap. It convinces you that the pain it inflicts is a sign of your own virtue. Human beings are creatures of meaning. We are born with a desperate, aching need to believe that our efforts matter, that our brief time on this earth contributes to something larger than ourselves. This is our greatest strength and our most profound vulnerability. And it is this vulnerability that the corporation has learned to exploit with the precision of a surgeon. It has become a manufacturer of artificial purpose, a factory for meaning. It understands that to truly control you, it must do more than simply command your body. It must capture your soul. The process begins with branding, which in the modern corporate world has transcended mere marketing to become a form of pseudo-religion. The company's mission statement is its scripture. Its core values the commandments by which you must live. The logo is its holy symbol, displayed on banners and screens like a crucifix in a cathedral. The slogans are its prayers, repeated in meetings and memos until they become a part of your internal monologue. The CEO is its prophet, their words delivered from on high, their vision the unquestionable truth that guides the faithful. They speak of changing the world, of making a difference, of connecting people. They co-opt the language of genuine humanistic movements and apply it to the sale of software, of sneakers, of sugar water. And we, starved for meaning in a world that has largely discarded traditional sources of it, eagerly accept these hollow idols. We want to believe that the long hours, the sleepless nights, the sacrificed weekends are not just for a paycheck. We need to believe that we are not just cogs in a machine, but crusaders in a holy war. And so, we willingly trade our personal freedom for this artificial sense of purpose. We align our identity with a brand. We wear the logo on our chests. We become evangelists for the corporate faith. We sacrifice our true passions, our authentic callings, for the pre-packaged, pre-approved purpose that the company provides. It is a tragic bargain, a selling of the soul not for wealth or power, but for a story that tells us our labor, no matter how mundane, has meaning. It is the most beautiful and the most devastating lie of all. Deep within the primitive architecture of the human brain lies a fundamental, non-negotiable need. The need for belonging, for recognition, for validation. We are social animals, and for millennia, our survival depended on our acceptance within the tribe. To be cast out was a death sentence. The corporation understands this primal wiring better than you understand it yourself. It has built its entire motivational structure upon the exploitation of this ancient, desperate need. It has transformed the workplace into a modern-day tribe, and it has made itself the sole arbiter of your value within it. The tools of this addiction are the rewards it doles out with calculated precision. The bonus, the promotion, the Employee of the Month plaque. These are not merely compensation for your labor. They are powerful psychological signals, affirmations that you are worthy, that you belong. Each time you receive one, your brain is flooded with a hit of dopamine, the same neurochemical responsible for the pleasures of food, sex, and addictive drugs. Feels good, feels like safety, feels like love, and so you begin to chase it. The work itself becomes secondary to the pursuit of the next hit of validation. This is how self-worth is eroded and replaced with a dependency on external approval. Your own internal compass, your innate sense of your own value begins to atrophy. You stop asking yourself, am I proud of what I'm doing? Is this work aligned with my soul? Instead, you begin to ask, did my boss like it? Will this get me recognized? Does this put me ahead of the others? Your colleagues, once again, are cast as your rivals in this desperate quest for the tribe's approval. The corporate structure fosters an environment of scarcity, convincing you that there is only so much recognition to go around, and you must fight for your share. The end result is a workforce of addicts, jonesing for their next fix of praise. You become willing to do anything for it. Work longer hours, compromise your ethics, sacrifice your health. The approval of the system becomes a substitute for genuine self-esteem. You become a hollow vessel, filled only by the validation that others pour into you. And the corporation holds the tap, can give and it can take away, and in that power lies the ultimate form of control. You are no longer a free agent, but a supplicant, forever holding out your hands, begging for the golden coins of their approval, oblivious to the fact that with each one they grant you, they fasten the chains to your ankles a little tighter. There is a sickness in the soul of the modern workplace, a perverse inversion of values where exhaustion is mistaken for dedication, and suffering is seen as a prerequisite for success. The corporate machine has not only normalized burnout, it has glorified it. It has taken the warning signs of human collapse, the chronic fatigue, the emotional numbness, the creeping cynicism, and reframed them as badges of honor, as proof of your unwavering commitment to the cause. Motivation, in this twisted paradigm, becomes a weapon you are encouraged to turn upon yourself. The hustle culture they champion is a death march in disguise. It whispers a toxic gospel in your ear. Sleep is for the weak. Boundaries are for the uninspired. The one who is willing to sacrifice the most wins. The ambitious employee is not the one who works smart, but the one who works to the point of self-annihilation. The light of the midnight oil burning in your cubicle is not a sign of poor time management, but a beacon of your loyalty. You are taught to wear your exhaustion like a medal, to speak of your 80-hour work weeks with a kind of grim pride. This glorification of overwork is a masterstroke of corporate control. It is a way of extracting the maximum amount of labor for the minimum amount of resistance. By transforming burnout into a status symbol, the system short-circuits your natural self-preservation instincts. Your body screams for rest, your mind begs for peace, but the culture tells you that these are signs of failure, of a lack of motivation. You are caught in a vicious cycle. The more exhausted you become, the more you feel you need to prove your worth, and so you push yourself harder, spiraling deeper into the abyss. and the machine applauds your descent. It celebrates your sacrifice because your self-destruction serves its interests. A burned-out employee is a compliant employee. They are too tired to question, too drained to rebel, too desperate to hold on to their job to cause any trouble. Your burnout is the ultimate proof of your loyalty, not a warning of your imminent collapse. You have given everything, sacrificed your well-being, your relationships, your very essence, for the company. You have become the perfect soldier, one who will fight until they drop, convinced that their slow death is a noble and worthy sacrifice. You are a candle, and you have been taught that the brightest flame is the one that consumes itself the fastest. The corporation is, above all else, a factory, but it does not merely produce products. It produces dreams. It manufactures and sells the most potent commodity of all, the vision of a better life. This is the grand narrative that underpins the entire structure of control. It is a story of ascension, of transformation. The story of how you, with enough hard work and dedication, can achieve wealth, status, and the ultimate prize, freedom. This dream is everywhere. It is in the glossy advertisements, on the billboards that loom over the cityscape, in the carefully curated success stories shared at company town halls. They show you the millionaire on the beach, the CEO ringing the opening bell, the happy family in the sprawling suburban home. They present these images as evidence, as proof that the system works, that the ladder leads to heaven. This could be you, the images whisper. Just keep climbing, just keep sacrificing. But every success story they broadcast is built upon a mountain of silent, anonymous failures. For everyone who reaches the top, there are thousands who have fallen, who have been broken, who have been used up and discarded. Their stories are never told. They are the inconvenient truths that are swept under the rug of the corporate dream. Motivation, in this context, is nothing more than propaganda. It is the steady drumbeat of a narrative designed to keep you striving, to keep you believing in the dream, even as the reality of your life contradicts it at every turn. They convince you that your current suffering is a temporary state, a necessary trial on the path to glory. They sell you the idea that your sacrifice is an investment in your future, a future that looks exactly like the images they have so carefully crafted. It is a powerful opiate, this dream. It numbs the pain of the present and keeps your eyes fixed on a horizon that you will never reach. You are encouraged to live in this future, to derive your sense of self-worth not from who you are, but from who you might one day become. This is how they keep you running, how they keep you compliant. As long as you believe in the dream, you will not question the reality. You will not see the bars of your cage because you are too busy gazing at the beautiful poster of a tropical beach that they have pasted on the wall. The corporate dream factory does not sell you a product. It sells you a version of yourself that you can only attain by surrendering the self you already are. It is a transaction that always and inevitably leaves you in debt. We have been conditioned to think of violence in its most brutal and obvious forms, the physical blow, the angry shout. But there is a quieter, more insidious form of violence, one that leaves no visible bruises but inflicts wounds far deeper and more lasting. This is the psychological violence that pervades the modern workplace, and its most effective instrument is the very concept of motivation. Corporate motivation is not encouragement. It is a judgment. It is a weapon of coercion, wielded with a surgeon's precision. It operates on a simple, devastating premise that is whispered into the soul of every employee. If you fail, it is your fault. If you are unhappy, you did not want it badly enough. If you are broken, you were not strong enough. The entire system is designed to absolve itself of any responsibility for the human cost of its operations. It places the full, crushing weight of success and failure squarely on the shoulders of the individual. This is a form of violence because it attacks your very sense of self. It breeds a culture of guilt and shame. You feel guilty for needing rest, for having a family that demands your time, for being human in a system that demands you be a machine. You feel shame when you cannot meet the ever-increasing demands, when you see others seemingly thriving while you are struggling to keep your head above water. You internalize the system's impossible standards and come to believe that your inability to meet them is a personal moral failing. This is not leadership. This is abuse. Fear is the silent partner of this violence. The fear of being seen as unmotivated, not a team player, lacking ambition. These are the scarlet letters of the corporate world, brands that can mean the end of your career. And so you remain silent about your struggles. You hide your exhaustion, you mask your anxiety, you pretend that you are fine, that you are thriving. This enforced silence is itself an act of violence. It isolates you, cuts you off from the possibility of solidarity and shared experience. It leaves you alone in the dark, convinced that you are the only one who feels this way, the only one who is failing. The system doesn't need to shout to control you. It only needs to whisper a single, poisonous lie into your ear, over and over again. It's all on you. For many, the dream of escape becomes the ultimate motivation. It is the light at the end of the corporate tunnel, the final, desperate hope. The fantasy takes many forms. The entrepreneurial venture, the freelance career, the quiet life of a digital nomad. It is the belief that you can leave the machine behind, that you can build a world of your own outside its walls. But this too is a lie. It is perhaps the most tragic lie of all, because it is a lie we tell ourselves. You can quit your job, you can hand in your badge, you can walk out of the glass and steel tower for the last time. But the corporate machine does not just exist in office buildings. It is a virus of the mind. Its values, its language, its metrics of success have so thoroughly permeated our culture that they follow you wherever you go. You leave the office, but you take the office with you. The prison was never the physical space. It was the psychological framework. The entrepreneur, believing they are now free, finds themselves working longer, more brutal hours than ever before. They are no longer just a worker. They are now the worker and the warden. They measure their days in productivity, their worth in growth charts, their success in market penetration. They have not escaped the system. They have simply become a smaller, more frantic version of it. The freelancer, who dreams of autonomy, finds themselves beholden to the whims of a dozen different clients, each a miniature version of the boss they left behind. They are still chasing deadlines, still seeking approval, still living in a state of perpetual anxiety, only now without the illusion of security. The truth is that the corporate machine has programmed you. It has taught you to measure your life in achievements, to view rest as a liability, to see your self-worth as a function of your economic output. This programming runs deep. To truly escape is not a matter of changing your employment status. It is a matter of psychological rebellion. It requires a fundamental deprogramming, a conscious and painful rejection of the values that have been drilled into you since birth. It means learning to define success on your own terms, to find meaning outside of work, to value being overdoing. This is the real and terrifyingly difficult work of liberation. Simply breaking through the office window is not enough, for most will only find another, identical office waiting for them on the other side. And so we arrive at the final, immutable truth, the cold, dark bedrock beneath all the lies. The purpose of corporate motivation has never been to increase your productivity. Productivity is merely a convenient byproduct. The true, ultimate purpose has always been, and will always be, control. It is about the subjugation of the individual will to the collective corporate entity. It is about ensuring a predictable, compliant, and endlessly renewable source of human energy to power the great, amoral machine of capital. This control does not end when you clock out. It has seeped through the walls of the office and into the very fabric of our lives. We have been so thoroughly indoctrinated that we have become our own overseers. Even in our private lives, we measure our worth in the language of the corporation. We speak of life hacks to optimize our existence. We hustle on our side projects. We set goals and KPIs for our personal development. We brand ourselves on social media, curating an image of success and relentless progress. We have forgotten how to simply be. We are all entrepreneurs of the self, and our product is our own life, packaged and sold for the approval of others. The dark truth is that there is no external escape. There is no new job, no new company, no new business venture that will set you free, because the system is not just out there. It is in here. It is the voice in your head that tells you you are not doing enough, not achieving enough, not being enough. It is the ghost that haunts your moments of rest, whispering of all the productive things you could be doing instead. The only sliver of hope, the only possible path to a semblance of freedom, is not external but internal. It is a quiet, radical act of rebellion. It is the conscious decision to reject their values, to refuse to measure your life by their metrics. It is the reclamation of your own innate sense of worth, a worth that is not contingent on your achievements, your title, or your income. It is the understanding that your life is not a project to be managed, but a mystery to be lived. It is to find meaning in the quiet, unproductive moments, to cherish connection over competition, to embrace your own flawed, beautiful humanity in a world that wants you to be a flawless, efficient machine. You cannot destroy the machine, but you can, with great and painful effort, choose to stop being one of its gears. And in that choice, in that small, silent refusal, lies the only escape there is.